You wake up to find you're the last person on Earth. What do? I would look for friendly animals like dogs and cats, because more important than food is good company in the longer run. Also, I want to befriend dogs before they become aggressive. Then I'll visit all the supermarkets and stock up on food that lasts for a long time. I'll steal good cars and fuel if possible and drive to the nearest library and research on survival and farming. I'll then probably head on to agriculture fields and store the seeds and grain very carefully so that I can cultivate crop for a long time. I'll try to travel as much as possible and enjoy the beauty of nature. When I feel content and happy, I'll take my own life. Are people dead or gone? If gone, I go shopping. This is clearly some kind of magic. Best to keep my cool until it's over. If dead, I try to find the local fertility clinic and hope I can figure out how to implant them in like my thigh with the time I have left. I would probably go try and find every animal I could in my area. I would then get a large boat and become the second Noah with my army of creatures and explore the world while capturing more animals as I go. I would teach the monkeys how to use as ships so when I eventually die, the world then has to deal with a crusade of all different animals who know how to work a very large boat. If I was in this position years ago, I would certainly go on a binge drive in an empty road, gather firearms to destroy things, and make my way to as many exotic places as possible. Since then, I've met my fiancée, and have many pets of my own. If she were to disappear with the world, I would take care of my pets to the ends of their lives, before taking my own life as well. I couldn't live without my family. I would get to a big house that has a lot of solar panels, download things as fast as possible since the internet won't last long, and get a ton of canned food, pasta and flour. Also, I would learn how to make bread. I make my way to the Indianapolis International Airport, board one of the abandoned passenger jets, start it up but make sure cabin will not pressurize properly, take off, set autopilot for 38,000 feet, then I enjoy the view while listening to music until I lose consciousness due to hypoxia. I die, but the plane keeps flying until out of fuel and then crashes back to the ground taking care of my burial. The last person on Earth with no procreation chance? I will bide my time comfortably. I will eat what I need to just survive and roam around and enjoy the beauty of Earth and just amble about. There's no rush. Just savor what we took for granted until I die. I go and find a living quarters. Maybe a supermarket with an apartment building area near the outskirts of a city so I can grow things and stuff. I live near farms and fields and things already, so I would probably stop there first. Probably make a blockade with the lane cars and collect their gas and car batteries in my base area. Make a giant landmark and become familiar with the area. Have all the fun I can in fast cars, motorcycles, and playing all the video games I want before the power turns off forever. Maybe figure out a way to keep it running at least in a small area. I know a bit about science and chemistry, and with a little creativity I could possibly keep it running just for myself. Collect all the car batteries and gas I possibly can, as well as the guns and ammo. With CDL experience I can go fill up or grab a full tanker. Use a local person's credit gas cards to collect gas before power goes out. Eat all the yummy food I want before it goes bad. Then with all this stuff I can think of new and exciting things to do every day. I can go fishing, hunting, wingsuit flying off buildings. And after all my fun is done, I would try some risky things out like flying a helicopter or a plane. Maybe fly to another country or something. I would definitely try to explore places the rest of humanity didn't try to explore. With unlimited resources I bet I could do just about anything. And if I survive, I would do it all over again in that new place and try to live the rest of my life out. I don't think the way I would live would let me bring a dog or animal. They would probably die because I would be very reckless and adventurous. That's where most of the fun would come from. Although if you know where an oil rig is located and can figure out how to operate the power plant there, you can have power and bring an animal, use a boat or something to transport all your belongings, gas, and diesel. Everyone is going to say stuff like, go back to sleep, or play video games all day, or whatever. But an honest response is gather resources. I'll need a house or base of operations. It needs to be near fresh running water. I need to get generators, we'll need tools, and canned food, etc. There would be a lot of work to be done just to survive day to day. The first couple years wouldn't be so bad. But the following years would start to get tough once electricity starts to fail. Generators only work with gasoline, and gasoline will start to go bad. At some point electricity will just be unavailable. Fresh food will start to go bad, so you would have to start learning to hunt and clean animals. No YouTube to watch either, you have to find libraries and bookstores with camping and wilderness survival manuals. If you can find chickens somehow, that would be a godsend if you could pen some up. Then you would need to combat the loneliness and fatigue and desperation you would feel. As much as many here would say, no other people amazing. Humans are social creatures. Arm myself to the teeth because animals will be everywhere. Head towards a bigger city close by and start looking for a nice house I like that is near a food source. Build a stockpile of supplies I need. Like fuel oil, water purification equipment for water, light sources, etc. Then once I'm comfortable, gather up things for entertainment, and chill in my nice new house. I would spend some time setting me up, then I would move, if possible, to a place with a temperate or subtropical climate. Since I don't know how much fuel for heating my place I would need, I would also try to choose a place far away from earthquakes, floods, and eruptions. Then I would gather all the medicines and all the canned food I can find, seeds to grow veggies, tools to repair and build stuff, weapons and ammunitions to defend myself from possible predators once nature reclaims the urban areas. Then I would look for dogs and cats, to have company, which I feel it will be very important, and books, all those I can find. At that point, I would try to enjoy life for as long as I can, I guess. Not what I would do, but what if a woman was the last person on Earth and she went to a sperm bank, and then impregnating herself and having babies of different races, restarting humanity from there? How would that turn out to be? I've no idea how one could wake up and discover they're the last person on Earth. If it would happen, I would take my cat and some items of personal significance to me. Drive to the city, take a gaming PC, take a VR headset, download as much PC-exclusive single-player video games as I could, download as much stuff off the internet I find of personal significance before the internet goes down forever. Would read up on how to supply a house with power, but I don't have much faith in accomplishing that. After the inevitable occurs, I'll find a house with solar panels and stock up on food and beverages. I'd also insulate the building I took residence in for winter, set up barrels for water collection, and gather firewood because I'm a paranoid fellow. I will definitely find myself reading books, both for guidance and recreation, but everything else I've listed is what I'd prioritize doing beforehand. If I can't find any entertaining books, I'd probably roam around the empty buildings. As the years pass, I'd probably embark on a journey across Canada and the US. I probably would eventually end up attempting to visit Europe and Japan. Europe for its culture and just to change things up a bit, and Japan because there is plenty of great manga lying around waiting to be read. Obviously, I'd have to learn Japanese through a book beforehand. I suspect I'd be going insane prior to the Europe or Japan expedition attempts, but not much I can do about that. Probably move away from nuclear power plants. Gather and load all electric cars. Go to a building with solar panels and a home battery that also still has a fireplace. Get bows, arrows and guns, all the spices from supermarket and canned food. Download everything I need from the internet on multiple small devices with low energy cost. Also, download AI and companion apps and lots of books and tutorials I might not find in the library. Live for as long as it is worthwhile. I think it might be okay with good books, apps to talk to and animal companions. I think hunting, fishing, and farming could be nice, but I am not sure I would last mentally. Well, I start by stealing a pickup truck, then going out and scouting for somewhere I can live that will survive winter without power, perhaps somewhere with an outdoor fuel oil tank for heating. This place has to be away from anything that might catch fire without supervision. Imagine you're prepared for the apocalypse, but your Heidi home burns down because the deep fryers were left running at the McDonald's down the street, burning down the whole block. So afterwards, I go out and begin collecting all of the non-perishables and medications I can. I'll make several trips and store them at my new residence. I go out and search for some more fuel oil tanks, preferably empty. I'm no technician, but YouTube probably still works at this point, so I use some videos to learn how to properly seat and seal fuel tanks, connect them together with some kind of positive displacement hand pump so that I can move fuel from my storage tanks into the active tank. I'll perhaps strap or mount some drums or tanks into my truck so that I can transport fuel from remote locations to my storage tanks. Maybe I'll just steal another truck so I can leave this one set up for the job. There's lots of learning to do, so I suppose I'll use my internet to start looking for resources on common or specialized tasks like house upkeep, roofing care, mechanical care for vehicles, common repairs. I take notes the whole time. I've still got a computer, so I also just steal a fancy laser printer and a ton of printer paper and toner. I'm taking notes and printing out all kinds of pages and manuals. I realize somewhat too late that my organization skills are trash, so I go to the nearest IKEA or Staples or whatever and load up on filing cabinets and folders. I organize all the information I have. This becomes my new idle task. I've got plenty more important things to do, but the internet is a big complex machine and it's going to start breaking down sooner rather than later. There's so much easily accessible information right now that I'll need later, and I'll have a much harder time finding when the internet is gone. During my new working hours, I need to secure equipment for farming, storing water, maybe even thinking about a zero-electricity food preservation for new foods I produce. So, I probably get all kinds of solutions: dehydrators, smokers, salting and brining gear, canning supplies, and more. This trend would consume my every waking hour to compensate for the deteriorating and disappearing support system as the world gradually returns to nature. Maybe eventually I can slow down and make time for myself, but not just yet,